I haven't had any credit. So I had to establish my credit, but I had to get started. So I had to go ahead and get that First Premier Bank credit card and pay that annual fee. I had to do that. Slow motion at a minimum wage job beats no motion waiting for the right job. Establishing credit takes time, and you want to get started immediately. Although I could not get out of the membership fees, maintenance fees, and processing fees that the card charged, I read the fine print that stated that if I paid my entire statement balance each billing cycle, each month, then I would not have to pay 38% interest for my purchases. That meant my purchases were dollar for dollar. Did you hear what I just said, right? That means that if I paid my entire statement balance at the end of each month, I would not have to pay any interest on my purchases. So although I got to pay the annual fees, that's a given. I can't avoid that. I got to pay the maintenance fees. That's a given. I can't avoid that. But what can I avoid? I can avoid paying interest. I don't want to pay interest too as well. If I'm paying all of those other fees because I got to, what fees can I avoid? And the fees that I can avoid is the interest, the APR. That means that you can pay a 0% interest if you pay your statement balance. That's the difference. But if you pay your minimum payment, then guess what? You got to pay that 38% APR. So what I'm saying is this. That means that if I get $100 worth of purchases and it's a 38 APR interest on my purchases, in simple terms, that means that I'm gonna have to pay $138 for that $100 worth of purchases if I make the minimum payment. And my minimum payment is going to be something like $10. So then that means that I'm gonna pay $10 and I'm gonna still owe what? $128 on that $100 worth of purchases because I made the decision to make the minimum payment. But I said that if I make the statement balance, if I pay the statement balance, then guess what? My $100 worth of purchases will cost me $100 out of my pocket. That's what makes sense. Make the statement balance, not the minimum payment. This is how you got to work your credit card. You can't avoid all of the other fees, but you can avoid paying interest. It's about the way that you go about it. On your statement, it gives you a choice to either pay your statement balance or the minimum payment. I wondered what the difference was. The difference is that whether you will get charged interest or no interest for your purchases. When you pay the statement balance in full, you get charged no interest. When you pay the minimum payment, you get charged a 38% interest. If I made $100 in purchases during that billing cycle and I paid the $100 off when my bill was due, I did not get charged any interest. If I made the $100 in purchasing and paid the $10 minimum payment, then I would get charged $38 in interest. So although my account would be in good standing because I made the required payments, my pockets would not be in good standing because my money was in the pockets of the credit card company versus my own. Key, you want your money to be in your pockets, not the credit card companies, because of you not making the right decision and paying your statement balance. Cut corners where you can. That's how you start to become financially free. It was like a light bulb went off when I understood this concept, and I wondered why people were afraid of credit cards. It was not the credit cards that were the problem, but the people using them. The excellent payment history that I displayed with the beginner credit card got the interest of better credit card companies that did not have any fees. I used the same concept of paying my statement balance each month to avoid interest. Making payments on time is important in establishing your credit, but I made it just as important to pay the statement balance to avoid the interest as well. I want to let people know this because I hear people, again, low quality information. People are saying, man, you know what? I want to keep some money on my credit card at the end of the month because I want to carry over the balance because I just want to show them that I'm carrying over the balance. And they think that that's, man, helping their credit. What helps your credit is making the payments every month, right? So the main thing that you want to do is make sure that you make your payments on time, but carrying balances over to the next month, only thing that is doing is putting you in a position to be charged interest. right? So when you make the statement balance, that puts you in a position to not have to pay no interest. So get out of the mindset of saying that you gotta carry a balance over to the next month. I heard people say, man, I'm gonna carry a $5-10 balance. No, once you do that, now you're gonna be charged interest for those purchases that you have that you have accumulated throughout the month. Pay the whole entire statement balance so you don't have to be charged any interest. I was able to pay the statement balance each month because I spent only on my credit cards and not out of my checking account. My checks from my employer were direct deposited into my checking account each week, and I didn't touch them. I made all my purchases on my credit cards. So when the time came to pay the statement balance, I had a surplus in my checking account. I just transferred the money from my checking account to my credit card each month. I was disciplined to not spend in two places, which would be spending from my checking account and spending on my credit cards. I told myself something different from what the credit card companies told me, which was that they provided the opportunity for extra spending power. I viewed the available credit as my money and not extra money. I still spent within my budget. Thinking of credit card money as extra money is a sure way to not have the money to pay the statement balance and be forced to pay the minimum payment and get charged the interest. Credit card money is not extra money. Credit card money is the money that you have available. Get out of the mindset of saying, man, oh, I got a $500 credit limit, or I got a $10,000. I got credit cards where it's no limit to it, right? But just because there's no limit on my credit card doesn't mean that there's no limit on my income. If it's a limit on my income, it's a limit on my spending. I can't go out there and say, man, I'm about to go ahead and get a $500,000 such and such. I don't have $500,000 coming in. That doesn't make sense. So you want to make sure that what you are spending on your credit cards is what you actually got in your checking account, so you don't overspend, right? Overextend yourself and get in financial ruin.